All right, so are you ready to dive deep into fasting?
I am definitely ready.
Okay, great, because today we're going to be talking all about fasting. Specifically, we've got some excerpts here from a document called The Benefits of Fasting, and we're really going to unpack what the latest research says about its potential benefits.
Yeah, and you know what's so fascinating about this is it's kind of moving beyond just like simple calories in, calories out.
Right.
We're discovering that when we eat might be just as important as what we eat.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's like giving our body like a strategic break from digestion unleashes this whole cascade of positive effects that we're really just starting to understand.
Okay, so I think when most people think about fasting, they think about weight loss, right?
Right.
But this document seems to hint that there's a lot more going on
Oh, absolutely.
than just, shedding a few pounds.
Yeah. So fasting can definitely lead to weight loss.
Yeah.
But reducing your calorie intake overall, shifting your body into that fat burning mode we call ketosis.
Right.
But I think the truly exciting stuff is what happens kind of beneath the surface.
Okay.
For example, like some studies have shown that intermittent fasting can improve insulin sensitivity, like remarkably quickly, like even within the first few weeks.
Wow.
And that's huge,
Yeah.
because that's a game changer for preventing type 2 diabetes.
So it's not just about shrinking our waistlines, it's almost like fundamentally changing how our bodies process energy.
Exactly, and the benefits extend way beyond weight management.
Okay.
You take heart health, for example. Studies have shown that fasting can have like a significant impact on reducing blood pressure,
Really?
triglycerides,
Wow.
even bad cholesterol levels.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and those are like some of the biggest risk factors for heart disease.
Right, so it sounds like fasting could actually be like a preventative measure for keeping our hearts healthy.
Yeah, the research is definitely pointing in that direction. And it's not just about mitigating those specific factors. It seems to tackle like the root cause of many chronic diseases.
Oh, okay.
Inflammation.
Interesting.
Fasting appears to trigger like these really potent anti-inflammatory processes at a cellular level.
Okay, so this is the part that really caught my eye when I was reading through this document.
Yeah.
The idea that fasting can boost brain power. Is that really a thing? Can giving our brains a break from food actually make us sharper?
It's not as far-fetched as it sounds.
Okay.
So one of the key mechanisms here is the production of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor.
BDNF. Okay.
Yeah, you can think of it as like miracle grow for your brain cells.
Okay.
So fasting increases BDNF levels significantly,
Wow.
which supports the growth, the connection, and the resilience of neurons.
So almost like working out our brain, making it stronger and more efficient.
That's a great analogy.
Okay.
Yeah, so this enhanced neuroplasticity, we call it, translates to improvements in learning, memory, overall cognitive function. There's even research suggesting that fasting could help protect against age-related cognitive decline and potentially even neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's.
That is incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing stuff.
Okay, so how does this all happen like at a cellular level? What's going on inside of our bodies when we fast that triggers these like remarkable changes?
One of your key processes is called autophagy.
Autophagy.
Yeah, it's essentially a cellular recycling system where the body starts breaking down and repurposing old or damaged cell components.
So almost like a spring cleaning for our cells?
Precisely.
Yeah.
And this process is incredibly important for maintaining cellular health, reducing inflammation, and potentially even boosting the effectiveness of cancer treatments.
Wait, cancer treatments?
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds like we're getting into some really cutting-edge territory here.
It is, the research is still emerging, but there's growing interest in how fasting might make cancer cells more susceptible to therapies like chemotherapy.
Interesting.
Some studies have shown promising results, particularly in animal models.
Okay.
But it's a very exciting area of research.
This is mind-blowing stuff. It sounds like the benefits just keep unfolding.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, so before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's kind of dig a little deeper into how fasting might be linked to longevity.
Okay.
I'm really curious about this idea of not just living longer, but like living healthier for longer.
Right, and that's a crucial distinction.
Yeah.
It's not just about adding years to our lives.
Right.
It's about adding life to our years.
Exactly.
And that's where fasting's impact on cellular repair and stress reduction really comes in.
Okay.
Animal studies have shown that caloric restriction, which is a type of fasting, can significantly extend lifespan.
Wow, that's amazing. Are we talking about like drastically reducing calories, or is there a more nuanced approach for humans?
That's a great question.
What about the downsides? What about the risks?
Yeah, we need to explore those as well.
Okay.
For sure. So when it comes to humans, the focus is shifting towards these more sustainable and practical approaches like intermittent fasting,
Right.
rather than like chronic calorie restriction. And, like with any lifestyle intervention, there can be potential downsides or risks, especially if it's not done properly.
All right, of course.
So it's really crucial to consult with a healthcare professional to determine if fasting is right for you and to get guidance on how to do it safely.
That makes a lot of sense. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about how fasting affects, our weight, our heart health, brain function, even potentially cancer cells and lifespan.
Yeah.
But what about its impact on our hormones?
Oh, yeah.
It seems like that could be a whole other layer of complexity.
Absolutely. Fasting has a profound impact on our hormonal systems.
Oh,
And, understanding those shifts is key to really grasping its full benefits.
okay.
One of the most fascinating effects is on human growth hormone, or HGH.
HGH, isn't that the one that athletes sometimes use to boost muscle growth?
That's right. It's crucial for muscle growth and repair, but its role goes way beyond that.
Okay.
HGH is involved in building and repairing all sorts of tissues, including bone and organs.
Yeah.
It also plays a key role in fat metabolism, helping our bodies use fat for fuel more efficiently.
So fasting naturally increases this fountain of youth hormone.
It does.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
What about other hormones? Does fasting affect those as well?
Yes. Another significant hormonal change involves insulin.
Okay.
So fasting lowers insulin levels, which has several benefits. Firstly, lower insulin means less fat storage.
Okay.
And secondly, improves insulin sensitivity, which we talked about earlier in preventing type 2 diabetes.
Right. So it's like fasting is giving our bodies a chance to kind of reset and optimize our hormonal balance.
Exactly.
Which then has all these downstream effects on our health.
Precisely. And it's not just about the physical benefits.
Okay.
A lot of people who practice intermittent fasting, they report feeling more focused and motivated during their fasting windows.
Really? So there's a mental clarity aspect to it as well.
Yeah, and this likely stems from a combination of factors, including the improved hormonal balance, better blood sugar control, and the increase in BDNF.
Right.
That brain-boosting protein we talked about.
Speaking of BDNF, earlier we talked about how fasting boosts its production, but I'd love to dig a little deeper into why that's so significant for cognitive function.
Of course.
So
BDNF is crucial for neuroplasticity.
Okay.
Which is the brain's amazing ability to rewire itself to form new connections, to learn and adapt.
Okay.
And this is essential for everything from picking up a new language to recovering from a brain injury.
So the more BDNF we have, the more flexible and adaptable our brains become.
Exactly. And fasting is like a potent trigger for BDNF production.
Wow.
In a sense, by fasting, we're giving our brains a workout, helping them stay sharp and resilient.
Okay, this is really remarkable.
It is.
But it makes me wonder, how does the brain function when it's not getting its usual fuel from food?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
So during a fast days, the body shifts from using glucose as its primary energy source to burning fat. This process produces ketones, which can be used by the brain as an alternative fuel.
So ketones are like a backup generator for the brain.
That's a great analogy, and it turns out that ketones aren't just a backup.
Okay.
They're actually a very efficient fuel for the brain.
Interesting.
Some research suggests that ketones can improve memory and learning and may even offer neuroprotective effects.
Wow. So instead of running on sugar, our brains can run on these fat-derived ketones.
Right.
And potentially function even better.
It's pretty amazing.
This is mind-blowing.
Yeah. It is remarkable how adaptable our bodies are. And, that adaptability, that ability to switch fuel sources and tap into our reserves is one of the key reasons why fasting can be so beneficial.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here, from the impact of fasting on, weight loss and heart health to its influence on our hormones, our brains, even lifespan.
Yeah.
What stands out to you the most from all this research?
You know what fascinates me the most is how fasting affects the body on such a fundamental level.
Yeah.
Influencing everything from our cells to our hormones to our brains.
Right.
It really highlights the intricate interconnectedness of our biology and the remarkable power of something as simple as timed eating to improve health and well-being.
I completely agree. It's like fasting unlocks this hidden potential within us, triggering these ancient survival mechanisms that have these profound effects on our modern lives.
Absolutely.
It makes you wonder what other incredible capabilities might our bodies be hiding, just waiting to be activated.
Yeah, it really is amazing to think that, something as simple as changing when we eat can have such a ripple effect on our whole system.
It really speaks to like the power of our evolutionary heritage. You know, fasting isn't some like trendy new diet. It's a practice our ancestors did out of necessity, and our bodies still carry that incredible adaptive ability.
So in a way, we're like tapping into this ancient wisdom by incorporating fasting into our modern lifestyles.
Exactly. But, you know, while we've explored some pretty incredible potential benefits today.
Right. It's important to remember that fasting isn't a magic bullet, you know?
Of course, yeah.
It's a powerful tool, but it's not right for everyone.
That's a really crucial point for anyone considering, you know, fasting, especially for therapeutic purposes. Talking to a healthcare professional is essential.
Absolutely.
You know, they can help determine if it's appropriate for their needs and guide them on how to do it safely.
Yeah, there are different types of fasting, and, you know, finding the right approach depends on various factors like your health history,
Right.
medications, lifestyle.
Right.
You know, it's not something to just jump into without proper guidance.
So for our listeners who might be feeling a little overwhelmed by all this information, you know, what would be your key takeaway?
I think the biggest takeaway is that understanding the science behind fasting can empower us to make more informed choices about our health. Even if you're not ready to try fasting yourself, you know, knowing how it works can encourage you to adopt healthier habits overall.
Like being more mindful of when we eat and giving our bodies a chance to rest and digest properly?
Precisely. It's about shifting our perspective from simply focusing on what we consume to appreciating the power of when we consume it.
Well said. This deep dive has definitely given me a lot to think about, and I hope it's done the same for our listeners.
It's been a pleasure exploring this fascinating topic with you.
Likewise.
And remember, the journey to better health is a marathon, not a sprint.
That's true.
Every step we take towards understanding our bodies and making informed choices is a step in the right direction.
Couldn't agree more. And to our listeners, one final thought. Our bodies are capable of incredible things. Take the time to learn about them, nurture them, and you might be surprised at what you can achieve. Until next time. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.